Welcome to Married to Movies. Industry insiders John Russell and Tracy Kring live and work happily in cinematrimony. They're sharing behind-the-scenes adventures of writing, producing, and appreciating films.
Good morning, babe.
Good morning, babe. Live
So
from the Jim Thorpe Inn.
we're using an ironing board as our desk.
It may be in at Jim Thorpe. I'm not sure.
Is the inn at Jim Thorpe?
The inn in Jim Thorpe or
No,
at Jim
the
Thorpe?
inn at Jim Thorpe.
Okay.
We're here for the Jim Thorpe Independent Film Festival.
Live from the Jim. Well, it's not really live, though.
It's like Stephen Colbert whenever they announce his show. It's
Yes. Live on tape.
Live on tape.
Live on tape.
Yeah. We drove down. It's about 2 hours from our house.
There was such a exhausted kind of just a deflation of the spirit after that. Yeah.
I think, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's age that I've kind of given up on acting like I enjoy something when I don't.
Wait. You're not enjoying this weekend.
No, I am. But I also enjoy doing the things that I want to do.
True.
And sometimes I feel pressure.
And when you have responsibilities and you feel like you are not addressing those responsibilities, it kind of weighs down on you.
Me. Yeah. I'm not saying that's a normal thing people should try to do. It's an awesome little town.
It is. It's
so cute.
So fun, so charming. If
you drive down though, park and just leave your car there. Jim Thorpe, you may think I've heard that name before.
Yes.
You have. He was a famous indigenous Olympian baseball player, everything.
Like a football player. The first.
He was part of starting the NFL.
Yes, he was.
You told the story of
Jim
Thorpe, and I'd like to retell that.
I don't think there needs to be retold.
No, according to Mr. Jon Russell Kring, Jim Thorpe was at the Munich Olympics when they were trying to prove German excellence after World War II.
Okay.
Hold on. I'm dying. I'm already dying. And he won the decathlon and the pentathlon, even though he didn't know those words.
But that's correct. He did win the decathlon and pentathlon.
And he did.
Right.
At the 1912 Olympics. And Munich was, I think, in the 70s.
In the 70s, yes.
Not after World War II.
Exactly. I was mixing together a lot of historical facts that were incorrect.
Oh, real incorrect.
They took away his Olympic medals because
he had been paid to play a game of baseball.
Because here's the thing. It was really about, they didn't want a Native American to have won the pentathlon and the decathlon.
Because the Nazis
had nothing to do with the Nazis. The Nazis were not involved except for the Nazis that exist in our country all the time.
All the time?
Yes.
This is from a couple that sat in front of us in the theater about 45 seconds
before the movie. So we asked for Cliff's Notes version of what is this town? Why is it called Jim Thorpe, Pennsylvania?
This place used to be called Monchuk.
Yeah, Monchunk. Yeah.
Monchunk. They sent out a thing for any town in the U.S. to honor Jim Thorpe because he got robbed. And they wanted to name this town Jim Thorpe after him.
Yeah.
And they had to go to the Supreme Court to get his body moved here.
They did.
And so
because he's from Oklahoma.
He's from Oklahoma.
Yeah, he has nothing to do with Jim Thorpe, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, but the people locally felt like it was just a cash grab.
Yeah, probably.
To name the town. And there's still places here that are called Monchunk.
Yes, or something. Yeah.
Yeah, but I feel like even for this town at the time when the Opera House would have been playing opera and musicals, I feel like it's a small town to have such a really beautiful building.
Well, they've got really cool posters of people who have been there. like Three Dog Night played there.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
that's the cool name.
What is it like? Hey, I think Three Dog Night's very cool. Thank you very much. Shambhala, baby. I would say what? Like maybe it seats 300?
The thing that we've really enjoyed about this festival is that it's only one schedule of things going on.
Right.
There's not multiple locations where multiple screenings are happening at once and everybody's fighting for the crowd. The crowd is excellent every single screening.
Absolutely. I mean, last night was full.
It was packed.
And on the morning, yesterday was Saturday morning, and it was like 11 a.m. and it was pretty much full too. Like there was a line out the door.
Oh, it started with a line out the door.
That was for the student films,
which were really good.
Really good.
We were hungry on the way down. And
one is apt to be.
I was looking around for somewhere to eat.
Yes.
And we came down with our friend, Eric Vollweiler. We've known him from actual upstate in Albany area for like over 10 years, I'm sure.
He makes a living basically promoting film festivals.
He's the connection here at the festival, and he got us in as guests of the fest, along with Kevin Craig West.
Yes.
Who's also an old colleague and friend from upstate New York when we lived there.
He'd done a couple of our films, Little by Peep and Creeping Crawling.
Yeah. Oh, he actually said something really sweet because he was saying to me at one of the galas, which was like amazing.
It was a party. It was a party.
This Gothic church, and there were people on stilts and drones flying.
Yeah,
so
they were.
It was a very, very cool festival. He was like, well, I hope you know how much you and Jon kick ass. And I was just like, man, most days it feels like I'm the one getting my ass kicked.
Aw.
And
hey, you know what I can do? I can do this.
Oh, thank you.
Look at this. I can do back
this
scratches.
Is the benefit of
sitting right here.
He told a story about going to like this big audition in Atlanta, and there were like 16 agents, and everybody was trying to get an agent, and he already had one, but he met someone he liked and gave her his reel and his headshot and everything. And she called him the next day and said she saw one thing on his reel and wanted him immediately. And it was the role that he did in Little by Peep.
It was.
Our film.
It was. And
I was like, oh, that's so cool.
And that role got him his agent.
Yeah.
Who he's had for, over a decade now.
Yeah. So
very, very cool. Yeah. And Kevin's like been in some major stuff. I mean, he was in
drove Tommy Lee Jones
Finest
around.
Kind, and he was in Don't Look Back with Leonardo DiCaprio and everybody else famous in the world.
On the way down, Jon asked me to find a restaurant, and I like to find something that's like not, you could just have it anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah. You got to find that local cool spot. You got to find your diner, drive-in, and dive.
Humpty's.
Do the hump to hump. Do the hump to hump. There's an excellent picture of me with my face in a Humpty. In a Humpty Dumpty.
That place was so freaking good.
It was amazing.
Their onion rings were the best we've ever had.
I don't
even like onion rings.
Enormous, and they were so good.
The thing is, this is what I hate about onion rings. They're like hot when you bite into them, and then the whole damn onion slides out.
The whole onion comes out. Yeah.
I hate that.
That's a thing.
That didn't happen with these.
No, they were hot. They were huge. They were delicious. They also had
so airy.
They had a meatloaf sandwich.
A smoked meatloaf sandwich.
Yes, that was also right. That was also like with cheese on it. Oh my!
The thing that I've really enjoyed about this festival is it's really well supported too. I've seen so many festivals where there were 5 people in the crowd.
Oh gosh!
And 3 of them made the film. I hear people talking about the films
all through the whole town.
At breakfast in the morning, there's just like they watched Fuck Toys last night, and I heard them talking about Fuck Toys and talking about her and her, morality as a character.
Anna Perna is the director, and it was a really, really good movie. It was very charming.
Like one of those like faux 60s movies.
Yeah, a little grindhouse vibe, a little drive-in vibe. Yeah. It was shot on 16 millimeter. it was fun. It was sexy. It was dirty, but it was also kind of wholesome. I mean, it was a really interesting movie. We enjoyed it. We also saw another movie,
Alma and the Wolf.
Alma and the Wolf, and that was kind of a horror movie. I mean, what would you call it?
It's a horror movie like we would make a horror movie where it's kind of a genre bender, because it was like a drama for sure.
It had that actor from Empire Records in it. Nothing wrong with Alma. The Wolf.
The Wolf.
The Wolf had issues.
That wolf was weird, and the audience didn't address it, so I don't know the story behind it. But in the context of the plot twist, maybe they thought it made sense. But he was talking about like the wolf being like all animatronic-y and stuff, and it looked like it barely moved. You know the wolf in the Never-Ending Story, the one?
Yes.
That was better.
Oh my gosh, yes.
A million times better.
That wolf was wonderful.
The nothing.
Yeah,
wolf.
well, yeah. He was the servant of the nothing. They put us up at this just amazing inn.
Everybody,
it's like a suite.
Yeah, no, like we're in the living room right now.
Yes. And there's a bathtub over there. And we thought it was a jacuzzi, but it wasn't.
It's just a giant garden tub.
Giant tub.
It takes a long time to fill.
Long time. I was going to, after I took the bath.
No. That's a lie. That's a lie.
Wait
That's a lie.
second.
You're already lying.
No, I'm not already lying. Thank you very much. I know what was going to happen. What was going to happen was I was going to take my bath, okay? And then I was going to bring the dog into the bath with me and wash the dog.
Okay. You understand that, first of all, you taking your bath.
Yes.
And that's the thing about a bath. You're still sitting in your bath water.
Yes.
So when you bring a dog into the bath, you're now sitting in the dog's bath water. And,
yes.
And why would you do that? Because now you're in the dog's bath water.
I mean, yeah, you make a point. Yeah. In other words, I am re-dirtying myself.
A little.
What you're saying.
A little
bit.
Because before we left, he ran through and just smeared himself through deer shit, of course. It was disgusting.
Exactly. We were like right about to get in the car, and I'd like wipe off the deer shit off the dog. And you were like, go inside and clean him.
No, I was more like take him inside.
And I'm like, no,
he's crawling all over me in the back seat.
He's fine. I cleaned off the deer shit.
Yeah, that doesn't help.
Well,
it's still there.
It was still there. There was still,
I can still smell it.
The vague, ambiance of deer shit. Yes.
So when you were like trying to put the dog into the bath with you, I flipped out a little bit.
You flipped out a little bit, yeah. Yeah. And you were just like, who does that? And I'm like, I've seen that done. I've seen people in movies with dogs in baths with them.
Was it on a porn site?
No, it was not on a porn site.
Was it on the dark web?
No, it was not on the dark web.
I question your character now.
All right, fair enough.
All weekend long, they've been playing like disaster movies.
Oh, on AMC. You know what they played? They played Contagion. And here's the thing. I think Steven Soderbergh is one of the greatest directors of this generation.
Wait.
You think about all of the things
Is
that
Soderbergh leaving Las Vegas?
No.
Who did that?
I don't know. I think that was Mike Lee. Mike Figgis. That's right.
Okay.
Yeah, because he I think he died or something.
Mike Figgis.
Like after
You are so full of shit.
No, I think he died.
Why is it not saying he died then?
Well, maybe he didn't die. Okay. Well, look, I was on a roll.
Full of crap.
I got that right, that it was not.
Why do you just lie about things? Look, he's not even dead.
Oh, he's not even dead.
He's like 77.
Right.
He's not dead.
Well, yeah.
Okay, Steven
Soderbergh, right. What a great director. I mean, all of the different kinds of movies that he makes, so many, like he just did some horror movie, which was a giant bomb. I think it was called Possessor or something. I
Presence.
Presence. Yeah, okay, Presence.
A family becomes convinced they are not alone after moving into their new home. I mean, really? Really?
Okay, why?
Really?
Yes, that is a trope, but it's a trope because it is a true thing
A
that
couple
happens.
To save their marriage go to a cabin in the woods. It's just like, oh God, a family moves into a house. Oh God.
Okay. He kind of, put the word out. He was like, I did this movie Presence and I did this movie Black Bag. And Black Bag was received incredibly well by critics.
He do the one?
But neither one of them made any money. And he sounded the alarm. He was like, these are the kind of movies I make. I made these mid-budget level movies.
And they still can't make money.
And they didn't make money.
Wow.
I mean, there are people who have not returned to the theater since COVID.
Sure. We started watching a ton of movies at home during COVID.
Mm-hmm.
And we bought an Apple TV so that we could have Apple TV movies and stuff.
Right.
And recently, I did not know that the remote was down in the crack of the chair.
Right.
And I was sitting there and the TV started doing weird things. And I was like, wait, hold on, where's the remote? And I was looking around and I found it under my leg, right?
Right.
And evidently there's a thing that can happen with your Apple TV where you press a series of buttons for too long. Like
random buttons.
Completely randomly pressing things.
That your ass is pressing that you're not even aware of.
And it will brick your whole Apple TV.
Totally brick your Apple TV. You'll take
Nothing
it in.
Nothing to do about it.
You take it into the Apple store and they go,
it's dead.
Is that what happened? Oh, you fucked.
Why would it be that you can just accidentally sit on your remote and
I don't know.
brick something?
I don't know, man. I don't know what to tell you.
I fucking hate that. It's so annoying.
It is annoying, and they won't replace it.
No, they won't do shit.
They won't do shit.
So I'm sounding the alarm.
Yes.
Especially for people who fall asleep watching TV.
It was a European police alarm.
It was. For people who fall asleep when they watch TV, for people who lose their remotes, sit on them.
I can
with
scratch
children.
your back. I can scratch your back while we talk.
If you got kids who jump around on the couch, just be careful of that.
There is a couple that run this festival, Jocelyn and Todd. And they do just an absolutely incredible job. He has a production company. She has a background in theater. This is the 8th annual.
Oh, shit.
Wait, what happened?
I just realized I'm wearing 2 different shoes.
Well, I don't understand. They can't see your shoes, babe. It doesn't matter if you're wearing 2 different shoes.
I wore them like this to breakfast.
Oh my God. People are talking. It is the scandal of Jim Thorpe.
It's 2 different Crocs.
She's like some kind of bag lady walking around with 2 different shoes on.
So go back to Jocelyn and Todd. Everybody's really responding well to the artwork for the festival, the poster and the logo and everything.
Hey, folks, spend some time on your poster.
Well,
spend some time on your film festival poster. It makes a difference.
Well, look, when you're a filmmaker, you're cruising around on Film Freeway and you're looking at, everything's going to be $40 to $75 to enter.
Right.
So you're looking for a good way to spend your money. And a lot of these festivals, they may even have 10, 20 years on them. You've never heard of them.
Right.
And the only thing you really have to go on is their banner, their logo.
Right.
Right. And it really matters. And some festivals just kind of don't put a lot of effort in. But this one, it's a beautiful logo.
Yeah. It's kind of this
steampunk
vibe. Girl, and she's got a camera and the whole the vibe of the town.
The town is kind of gothic.
Yeah.
I could see horse-drawn carriages.
Oh, easily. You could easily see horse-drawn carriages
probably
coming
very
down.
Old.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so old that the floors in this hotel are just wavy. One thing, and I want to talk to them about it, and I would say this to all other festivals too. At the end of every screening, I've noticed that people are like giving their handles, asking people to follow them on Instagram and go to their website. And I don't know why festivals are not including this in their programming, or like have a poster with like a picture of the movie and then their social handles. Put it in your program so that, because like even big people who've been here, like Ari and Ethan Gold were here with their film Brother versus Brother.
Oh, that was such a good movie.
Well, hold on. And they were saying like, write us a review on Letterboxd, write us a review on IMDb. It helps us prove to people that we're commercial and that people want this.
Okay, so I have an issue here with this because I wrote a review of Brother versus Brother, the Gold Brothers story.
The
And
Brothers Gold.
Gold Brothers, right? However you want to put it. And I finished my review, and I thought it was very clever. It was just one long sentence because the movie is a oneer.
Yeah.
So I thought,
nice.
I'm being clever.
Good
I'm going to
job.
make one long sentence for this. I
Good job.
finished my review, and it said I was still 300 characters short. So IMDb makes you do a certain number of characters. It has to be at least 600 characters.
Interesting.
So you do know what I did? I put exclamation points for the rest of the review.
Smart.
Because I was lazy.
I would have just copied and pasted the same thing. Even to us as filmmakers, if the festival isn't putting our socials and stuff into the blurbs in the program, I think that we can just start writing those in to our blurb, because we're giving that to the festival. So just making sure that our QR codes are burned into posters, that our handles are, written into the request for reviews or whatever, are written into our, synopses when we give them to them. I think that's just a really smart thing to start doing. There's 90 films in this festival and none of them had social media information.
Right. But at the end of every Q&A,
they would say,
where can people find you?
Yeah.
Right.
And we need to know that ahead of time.
Because
every single person in that audience, like each house, let's say there was an average of 150 people in each audience, over the course of this whole week, you could be picking up 400, 500 followers probably.
Sure.
You could probably getting 20, 30 reviews.
The first film that we saw, the Brother versus Brother, which was Ari and Ethan Gold's film, was, it was produced by American Zoetrope. It came up right away, executive produced by Francis Ford Coppola. So, whoa, okay, wow,
okay,
here we go. And it was a really interesting film. It was kind of like they were playing themselves. They're brothers, they're musicians. One of the brothers.
It was a quasi-fictional situation.
Yeah, it was one long oneer. And also it was kind of like music videos too. It was almost
it was.
Yeah, it was almost
because
like
they are playing and singing, majority of the film.
And they're going around San Francisco playing at different clubs.
Ari said that during the edit, which is funny because it's a oneer.
There's still a lot of editing.
They did do like, some reframes. They shot it in 4K on a Sony. And
a lot of sound editing.
He said there were like 10,000 sounds that he added. And I asked him about the ADR, because I could tell some things were ADR'd, and he said for the most part it was all live, but there were some things that were muffled, and because it was all lav work. And he said about 85% was shot that way,
right?
But the rest had to get ADR'd. And he said I took the opportunity to put different things in there, to say different things and to write something different there. And I'm like, yeah, I noticed some of the ADR did not match, and you would put new words in their mouth. And he was like,
I didn't notice that.
he was like, "What do you do?" I'm like, "I'm an editor."
That's right.
I saw that. I saw what you did there.
You're like a bloodhound that just sniffed out the
And
dead
I'm
body.
I'm like, how did you deal with the exposure changes from outside to inside, especially like during because it starts at like bright sun right before sunset. And then over the course of time, we're going from sunset to dark.
Yeah. Straight dark.
But there were times where, I mean, the exposure on the street was so much brighter than the exposure inside of a club or a bar. And I'm like, were you just yanking indie filters out in the door jams? And he's like, exactly.
It was like probably an hour and a half. And the thing is that when you're
He wouldn't tell us how many takes they did.
Well, he said that it took less than a week. So my guess is
I think
did
5
or 6 times. But you could only do it at that particular point.
No, you had to start the same time
in the
every
day. Exactly. So that you would get the sunset.
They're walking around San Francisco and like,
oh, it looks exhausting.
Well, and like, I think the whole last part of the movie, they're basically walking uphill the entire
just a
like for 40
giant
minutes, they're walking
monstrous
uphill.
hill because they're trying to get to their father, who was supposed to show up at the club.
Really, their father?
He's 99 years old.
Brilliant. He should have done much more acting in his life because he was a brilliant, brilliant actor. And
he was a poet. He's a writer. He knew Allen Ginsberg. He hung out with the Grateful Dead. You know, all that.
He was in the Kerouac Ginsberg San Francisco time.
Right.
It was a great movie.
It was.
It really was. I would suggest it when it's available to watch. Brother Verses, and you pointed out the verses is spelled like song verses, not verses.
Yes. Ethan Gold is just a brilliant songwriter. Anybody who loves like Elliott Smith and loves that sort of just wonderful, just floating, you know, a guitar driven, you know, beautiful, but also kind of dark and dealing with some heavy emotional issues. Ethan Gold's somebody you should listen to. If you were going to give best film of the fest for Alma and the Wolf, Brother versus Brother, or Fuck Toys, which of those 3 would you give it to?
Honestly, I give it to Fuck Toys.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's just it's a bigger feat. It was shot on 16 millimeter. While the Warner pulling off the Warner movie is a feat in and of itself, she worked on that for 8 years, and you know it was highly personal. And I don't know. I
respect your choice, and I see it, but I would give it to Brother versus Brother.
Sure.
Because
but we can both agree it would not go to Alma.
Well, okay, yes, because of the wolf.
No, because of other things, and you'll have to watch the movie to figure that out.
You know,
and also like,
folks, it's about the storytelling. Okay, the quality of everything is fantastic.
Well,
like the cameras are great, the lighting is great, everything is great now.
We were watching the students' short films, and there was one that was like so overwrought, so melodramatic.
Oh my god!
But it probably looked the best, and it looked like it was a film. It was a film.
It was like it was like a period piece, and it was.
But like it looked great.
Oh my god!
But like it's all about
it was awful
the story, not the looks.
Awful.
Now,
oh my god, it was so awful.
I kind of want to do an iPhone movie next. But while we've been here,
really,
I've actually had quite a few ideas for things.
You have,
and I don't know if you like them very much.
Well, look, here's the thing. I mean, with an idea is like an egg, okay? It has to incubate. None of the ideas that I've had for movies, because I'm really looking for something to do here, possibly, have been like, oh my God, that is a fantastic idea. You know, and it just hasn't been there. Which one? The horror one, or?
Yes.
Well, I don't think
you won't let me talk about it.
Well, no, I'm not. It's not that I'm not letting you talk about it. I'm just.
Can I talk about it on here?
No, you can't talk about it on here because you haven't done it yet, and you're going to tell people at the idea.
Excuse me. That's not letting me talk about it. You just said no. I'll let you talk about it, and then I said, "Well, can I tell her that no?
But you can't talk about it here because then people will take the idea.
You won't let me talk about it.
I will let you talk about it. I just won't let you talk about it right here on the podcast.
But you wouldn't let me talk about it the other day either.
What? That's not true.
On the other podcast we did.
No, you cannot talk about your non-idea on the podcast yet.
This is the last episode of our season 3.
This is the last
and
episode.
I really,
yes.
I mean, like, I wouldn't mind doing something different.
Yeah.
You know,
if people have an idea,
sitting at the table.
we have listened to you. For example, we stopped eating eggs while we were doing the podcast.
Well, stopped eating breakfast. And I only got one comment. They were like, it's kind of gross to watch you eat.
I mean,
some people loved it, but some
yeah,
people,
exactly. Our audience wants us to eat eggs. Look, if you want us to eat eggs again for the next podcast, we'll do it. We'll eat oatmeal if you want. Any way that we can to monetize this podcast.
No, I don't care.
I know. We don't care. We don't care about that.
I don't want this to be my life. We record and I edit the show and I edit all of the social media clips and write all the copy.
She does.
And do all of that on Sunday.
She is the little red hen, folks.
And it's like, maybe 3, 4, 5 hours of my Sunday, but it feels like my whole Sunday.
It is. Oh, it is. It is your full Sunday. I mean, what else are you going to do other than that? Yeah.
I mean, you know, most people would feel like that was enough to do in one day. Most people would feel, not me, because I insist so much out of myself at every fucking ticking moment.
Babe, it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay, babe. It's gonna be okay. I'm glad I'm here. I can calm you down a little bit.
Yeah, that might be nice.
All right. Listen, we thank you very much.
No, hold on.
For another
I
season.
have something else to say. I talked to someone about that this particular thing this weekend because they were talking about wanting to put a project together, but and they just keep buying gear for it.
Yes.
And oh my God, so many times I have given the advice, like there's another guy, he's working out of Georgia, and he had a specific amount of money he was trying to make a film for, and first thing he did, buy all this gear. This other filmmaker in Atlanta, first thing they want to do, buy all this gear. And I'm like, Jesus, just rent the gear.
Just rent the gear.
Just spend the money on your film, because this is what I see happen.
Mm-hmm.
You buy the gear and no longer have money to put towards the film.
Right.
And now you have a lot of gear that you have no intentions for.
Right.
You have no ideas on how to use it. You didn't buy it with the intention of creating a business.
Right.
For a whole week, you can rent a camera for like $77 and a nice camera.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not talking a red camera, but you know, or an ARRI. Not many things are happening right now. So rental houses, you know, it may say on their website, blah, blah, blah a day. But if you call them and create a good package for yourself and negotiate that down, you'd be surprised right now what you can rent.
What's the worst thing they can say? They just say, oh, no, we don't do that. Okay.
They can say, oh, man, you're crazy. No way. Stop buying stuff. And it's going to be irrelevant. It's going to be irrelevant in a matter of a year or two.
It's true.
It's completely irrelevant. And then it's basically worthless.
Tonight is the final award ceremony for Jim Thorpe. And then tomorrow we leave. We get one more breakfast.
Yeah, you get like breakfast vouchers here. It's no Antwerp.
No, it's no Antwerp.
But it's a nice little breakfast.
It's a nice little breakfast. We've had ourselves a fantastic time. Thank you very much for the hospitality of Jim Thorpe. We highly recommend you enter the festival and come visit.
It's so cute here. It's just so cute.
It's so charming. It's so cute. And you're so cute too. And we will see you with all of our cute next season.
It's hard not to get romantic about movies. Thanks for listening to Married to Movies. Jon and Tracy will meet you for breakfast tomorrow.